Hey, I got a review code for Fallen Legion Plus. This was originally a Vita game, then got ported to PS4. There's two different scenarios and characters, and this version basically combines both of them. Overall, the game is okay. As a Valkyrie profile veteran, I like what they were trying to do. There's some minor problems with the battle system. Now, the battle system itself is actually pretty cool. It's just that there's certain aspects of it that don't feel quite right. So the battle system's a lot like Valkyrie Profile. You have 3 attacks per character, and you can customize the last one depending on the combo bar. There's also link attacks. If you attack after a perfect block with a different character than the one you blocked with, there will be a unique attack. There's a bunch of passive buffs and stuff like that. I'm not that far in the game. I can show you the gemstones. I don't have too many great ones at the moment. So I'm going to go through one of the battles here. Now, what I don't like about this game is that the enemies don't get juggled by anything, which is it removes this game obviously has a huge inspiration from Valkyrie Profile, but the problem is that there's just no real element to the combo system. You pretty much just kind of push buttons and make sure that you don't get hit, which is definitely very thrilling in itself, but I kind of miss the mechanic of having to keep an enemy in the air. So you can block with L1. Like that, the enemy goes defenseless. The main issue with the blocking system is that you can't always see what the AI is doing due to the effects. Like, the effects are obviously there to make the game look flashy, but sometimes it definitely obscures what you're doing. Apparently this has been a very common complaint with this game. I was kind of following it for a while. I wasn't terribly interested, but then I got this code and decided to give it an honest chance. I think it does do some nice things, but as you can see, it's really difficult to see when the enemy is attacking. The effects obscure the attacks too much. And due to the skeleton animation, that can kind of make it a little difficult to tell what the characters are doing too. So you have these decisions that you can make later on, and they supposedly affect the story. I obviously have not been paying much attention to the story, but there are branching paths depending on the decisions that you make. So you are rewarded for landing a bunch of hits without getting hit yourself. But the problem is that the enemies don't stagger, so it just doesn't feel quite right. Like, you can see how frustrating this is. I'm landing attacks, but they just don't stagger to anything.
Bodhi's blessing.
I mean, this is what I don't like about this game right here, is just can't stagger them. It feels really awkward. You have a really cool combo system and a lot of elements to you know, encourage you to perfect block and stuff, but the game doesn't really reward it as much as I think it should. I think they should definitely stagger more often. Apparently you can like knock them on the ground later on, but at the beginning at least, I've been playing this for about 2 hours, I've been getting really frustrated with some of the bosses, how they just kind of stand there and tank everything, and also the visual effects definitely obscure what a lot of the more generic enemies are doing. Like with that boss right there, that's actually a playable character. It's very much like the Einherjar from Valkyrie Profile. You fight them and then you can recruit them. It wasn't too bad, but when you're fighting a lot of enemies at once, the effects just completely get in the way of what you're doing. And I looked up some reviews for this, and apparently that's been a very common complaint. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to try out the low effects and see if maybe that will fix it. So I got an extra gemstone from that. I can actually put a free attack added to the combo bar, so we'll try that. So you don't actually level up in this game, you get passive bonuses instead for finishing certain levels, and apparently for story events as well. So let's see if putting the effects on low will help. No, it doesn't really help much. Yeah, the effects are still pretty excessive. I feel like it's nothing that a patch couldn't fix, but I guess they'll have to get more feedback. It's probably going to be easier for them to fix these issues now that it's on PC, and they won't have to go through a bunch of certification to patch the game. But I've only been playing for a few hours, and I'm already pretty annoyed with how difficult it is to see attacks sometimes. See, now I can't see when I'm blocking, so turning the effects on low doesn't really help much either.
Bodhi's blessing! You fell right into my trap. David Spear!
Alright, so that's basically the overview of Fallen Legion. I'll go ahead and I'll show some of the other mechanics in the guide before I go here. I really like the core gameplay. I just feel like the enemies not staggering and the difficulty of seeing what they're doing in the heat of battle is like the major issue. Like, I don't know if I take this to a high level. Sometimes it feels like I can't actually defend because the effects directly obscure like the enemy sprites and you can't see what they're doing. Also, the skeleton animation can kind of make things difficult, but that depends from person to person. Some people like skeleton animation because the animations are more fluid, but here it definitely feels a little harder to like determine when the enemy is attacking and when they're not. But there's quite a bit of mechanics here. The combo bar, and when you get to the end of the combo bar, they will do their death blow. You can also change the rotation. The link attacks are pretty fun. I haven't learned the timings for all of them. I like the perfect block mechanic as well, but now that I have the effects on low, I can barely see when I'm blocking, so hopefully they'll find a bit of a compromise with the effects and make it a little easier to see what's happening. Apparently, on the Vita version, sometimes the effects can actually impact the performance, which in a game like this, where you basically have to defend, if you're not defending and you're just mashing buttons, you're not going to get very far. Even with how little of the game I've played, I can definitely see how if you're just mashing buttons, it's not going to take you far, which is a good thing, but when the blocking is obscured by all the effects, it definitely makes things a little bit harder than intended. So hopefully the game's a little rough around the edges. Hopefully they'll find a good compromise. Anyway, catch you guys later. Peace.